Hello everyone, how have you been doing? It has been a while, it has been many weeks, and I'm sorry that I just went off. I apologize for my inconsistency, but I promise to be consistent from now on, God willing, to keep uploading videos every week as I was doing previously. Today, I just want to speak to the genocide or the claims about Christian genocide in Nigeria, and I want to speak about it from my own personal experience because there have been many angles or perspectives of that this issue that has come out in the media from the government and from Nigerians and of course lawmakers or members of Congress from the United States. And from Muslims as well, especially Muslims in the northern part of Nigeria. So there is what people are saying, what some Christians are claiming, what the government is saying, and then there is the truth. And I have been following the news in Nigeria, and there's something that somebody, one of the journalists on Arise News, on the Arise Morning Show, Ayo Meru Essay said, which I completely agree with. She said that two truths can exist, and that is very true. I say that because the truth of the matter is that there is Christian genocide in Nigeria. There are armed bandits, there are the terrorists which are coming from the ISIS arm, and there are so many of those terrorist groups now. There's Boko Haram, there's ISIS, then you have the Miyetti Allah, and then the ones that are generally referred to as bandits. Each operating with seemingly different goals in mind, but the ultimate aim is to actually wipe out every form of resistance in the country and be able to take over. You know, when Boko Haram started in the early 2011, 2009, 10, 11, 12, around that time, they started with the ideology that Western education is an abomination. That is the meaning of haram, when something is an abomination, and that it should not be encouraged, right? And you know, with Western education, as it has been peddled, came the Christian religion, and it has been Western education had been or has been widely accepted in the southern and western part of the country. And you have that currently in Nigeria, the highest number of out-of-school children are in the north, especially in the northeast and the northwest. So northeast, Adamawa, Yola, Yobe, Maiduguri, and then in the northwest you have Sokoto State and Katsina, Gombe. You have Zamfara as well. So you have a high number of out-of-school children in those places. The truth is that there is genocide of Christians in Nigeria. I have lived in the north. I lived in the north between 2005 and 2012. And as a Christian, I can tell you that there is that tension, there is that fear, there is that sense of anxiety just being a Christian. And you know, how do they differentiate? Because in the north, the religion in the north is largely Islam. Many of the people cover themselves from head to toe, especially for the women. They have the headdress, and then they still have the hijab or the veils that they use to cover themselves, both culturally and as a religious form of dressing. And for Christians, we don't have that. Yes, we cover our head in the church, but outside of the church meetings, we go out with our hair open, because the Bible says that the woman's hair is her glory and her covering. So that is one simple way to differentiate between somebody who is not a Muslim and who is a Christian. But the problem with that classification is that there are a lot of people who were not Christians, who did not cover their hair, but they were actually not Christians. There are people who have other faiths, other religions, and who are not Muslims. And so everyone in that class is lumped up together as Christian and is classified as an infidel. And so just by that difference in dressing, in outlook, you are endangered. You are an endangered species. And in those years that I lived in the north, actually, I would not go out on Fridays to the city, to the market. I was there as a student. And if I had to leave the school premises on a Friday, I'd make sure I left very early in the morning and be back in the school vicinity at the university campus before 2 p.m. In fact, 12:30 p.m. because already people start leaving their shops and places of work to congregate at mosques and praying points in the city from 1 p.m. or thereabout. And when prayers hold at those times, movement is stopped everywhere. And if you are seen to be a Christian who is just walking around while they are praying, you can be attacked. So I always made sure that I did not stay outside or find myself in this I was not from that state. I was from another state in the south, already being labeled as a Christian. Of course, I am a Christian, but it was double tragedy for me. So I always made sure that I was not outside the school once it was 1 p.m. And wherever I was at that time, I don't move out. I just stay maybe until 3 or 3:30 before I start moving out, because the prayers take a lot of time. And then because of the hold-ups, because some prayers hold on the road, on the highways, people come out of the cars on the highways to pray on the road. Irrespective of what is happening, there's an emergency. It's your responsibility to make sure you are not caught up in that. So wherever I was, if I couldn't move, I just stayed there for my own safety until after the prayers. If people say that ISIS is operating in Nigeria, if people say that Boko Haram is operating, there are bandits and there are terrorists, it is true. If they say there are farmer herders clashes, it is true. But there is genocide. And you know, the farmer herder clash is really apart from the kidnappings, is really the major vehicle that has been used in all these years to perpetrate the genocide of Christians in Nigeria. If you look at the indices of the number of villages, farms that have been attacked and sacked, they are all Christian farming communities, to which herders, Fulani cattlemen or herdsmen come in with their cattle to graze. And when these farmers resist because you are grazing their crops, their hard work, they are killed. And what they do is, when the resistance is a lot, the herdsmen go back, reinforce and come back with more of their men. And that is why you see the attacks at night when people are sleeping and helpless. They are wiped off. So take it from somebody who has lived in that part of the country. I nearly died in 2012. Our church in the university chapel was attacked by Boko Haram. We were worshiping on a Sunday morning in the open air because the university would not give Christian students a proper place of worship. Even though it's a federal university, we were not allowed to have that. And so we were meeting outside when Boko Haram attacked on a Sunday morning. I saw my colleagues die, I saw lecturers die, and no one was arrested till today, more than 10 years afterwards. So I just want you to continue to pray for Christians in Nigeria. And I don't know what else to say, but I hope that one day there will be deliverance for us. Thank you for listening. God bless you.